Hello guys, I'm back from another video and today we're talking about, and I'm also sorry about, making this video pretty late, and I'm sorry for basically just like, you know, making you wait a little bit longer, but still, anyway, so, today we're going to be talking about a brand new series called What If Deku Had Quirk Creation Redo. So, this is one of my older series that I decided to, remake, and I was surprised back in the day that this video was actually one of my most, viewed videos, which I thought, well, I never really liked the What If, and never really liked the, the style back in the day that they made, but now I really want to redo it because, views. Anyway, and I also want to redo this because, back the original backstory for Ezekiel was kind of bad. So yeah, so let's begin the story then. So Ezekiel would be born in London after Sashi decided to maybe divorce Inko, aka his kind of half mother kind of. So he would basically hook up with this girl, as she would basically give birth to Izuku, and Asashi would obviously just go back to get the milk, never to come back. So, because of this woman that basically birthed Izuku would basically bring him to an orphanage and leave him there. So, Izuku would be bullied by several of the, orphan kids, because knowing that he's pretty weak and also quite vulnerable. So, every single kid there would basically bully him because he was weak, and not only that, scared easily. And not only that, some of the, how do we say this? What are they called? The caretakers were pretty much mean to Izuku as well, except for one, which he's kind of religious. She would basically tell Izuku that some people like them are going to be burning in hell very soon, when they go to hell, when they freaking die, and he's just a little angel that's misunderstood. So, a few years have gone by, as he's 3 now, as everybody would be brought to the quirk doctor to get their, quirks examined, as when Izuku gets his turn, the doctor would be shocked, and also when the caretakers, heard this, they would also be shocked. The doctor would say this, Madam, I think this kid's quirk is, as everybody would just be in shock, seeing his quirk's name. His quirk creation. It allows him to basically create his own quirks, and basically give them to others, similar to All for One, but, without the taking it part. So, because of this, many of the other kids basically started, doing a 180, and basically started being nice to him. They would ask for him to basically give them quirks, even the the quirkless ones that were also being bullied. But Izuku, after knowing them for so long, and basically being tormented by them, would basically refuse, and basically stop talking to them altogether, as he would basically leave the orphanage, never to be seen again. So, Izuku, let's just say after becoming 14, he would create a gang, and this gang is mostly consisting of people that are loyal to him, as he would become the number one villain of England. Which, yeah, he's the number one villain of England, and not only that, has a bit of a god complex. I'm not even kidding. So, Izuku would basically be called a god among men, because of his ability to basically create any quirk that he desires. And in this case, I have a list of them, but I need some of you guys in the comments to basically make 2 more quirks for him, because I only made 8, or should I say gotten the ideas from from the comments that I made on that short. And yeah, unfortunately I made more quirk ideas, so yeah. So in this case, I made a few more quirks, maybe 2, and then we're good. So let's talk about the quirks that I already sketched down. First, shadow manipulation. The user can basically just summon in shadows, create shadow constructs, for example swords, spears, things like that. and also can create shadow clones similar to Naruto. Then there's strength enhancement. Pretty easy. It allows the user to basically increase his strength by tenfold. Beowulf or Beowulf or whatever. It allows him to basically harden his skin similar to Kirishima, but it's much more stronger and able to take so much damage to the point that it's basically like the same damage as like a Tsar Bomba. Basically the strongest nuke ever. So, he also has immortality. Take a guess what it means. So, he also has soul value. Soul value basically allows him to basically see the weaknesses, the quirks, and also the strength and weaknesses of his opponents, even looking through their desires and also their deepest and darkest fears, allowing him to basically like torment them to the end or whatever. So, he also has perfect explosion. Pretty simple. It allows him to basically create like explosions that are basically like the size, or at least like have the destruction level as like a Tsar Bomba. So, he also has teleportation, pretty simple, and summoning. Allows him to summon anything. So, like for say, the armor of Gilgamesh, the chains of heaven, Excalibur. God, I made him super overpowered. So, I want two of you guys, or at least one of you guys, to basically make two quirks for Ezekiel for the next part of this what if. So, yeah, so Ezekiel is super overpowered, and not only that, has a god complex similar to Gilgamesh. Kind of. So, Gilgamesh, or Ezekiel, or in this case Ezekiel, I mean, I'm kind of confusing them because, I made their personalities kind of similar. Ezekiel would basically be the king of crime there, and being known by the alias Moriarty. So, Ezekiel has been, causing some trouble in England and ruling it with an iron fist in the shadows. As he would basically make his gang, mostly gangs that are basically infused with some of his given quirks, or the quirks that he gave to them, making them super overpowered. So, one day, Ezekiel is basically on top of one of the buildings, or the tallest building in England. Wait for a second. So, while he's there, he's basically sighing to himself, saying, I'm so bored. As one person would basically arrive there, being one of his subordinates, as he would say this, Boss, what are you doing here? As he would say this, I'm bored, Cassidy. I'm done being a villain. As when he hears this, he would say, Wait, what? You're done being a villain? But we're taking over England. But as he would say this, Sorry, but I'm kind of bored. I'm done. I'm super tired. It's fun being a god, but I want to be immortal now. I mean, I love causing crime and making people suffer for their sins, but he would basically sigh once again, as he would say this. So, my subordinate, my friend, my ally, as he would say this. What is it, boss? As he would basically bring in this crucifix, or his his necklace with a silver cross on it, or a crucifix, as he would basically give it to him, as he would say this. You're taking over the gang now. You're the boss now. So, I'll be, I don't know, maybe as he would basically turn to him, as he would say this. Letting myself get caught by the police and heroes. As when he hears this, he would say, Wait, you're telling me that you're, as he would say this, ta-ta, as he would basically fall off the building, as he would teleport away to a large, stadium, which currently is having a football match, or football game. So, when they were interrupted by Moriarty would say this. Hello, everybody. It is me, Moriarty, England's worst baddie. As he would basically snap his fingers, as they would see several large monsters appear. In this case, large homunculi, which they would start ravaging the entire stadium, as Ezekiel would basically start shooting at them with a flaming, not really flaming, but more like a dark ball, as this ball would basically be I don't know, a mini black hole, which crushes some of the civilians. He would start to laugh, saying, "So, this is my last hurrah, my last day of being a villain. So, any of you heroes trying to, I don't know, save these innocent civilians? Maybe even fighting me, defeating me?" As he would basically start to smile wickedly, as a person would arrive, as he would say this, "That's enough, Moriarty." As he would basically look towards his back, as he would see his arch nemesis. His name is Sherlock. So, he would say this, "Ah, Sherlock, it's been a while. So, how's that little injury that I made for you?" As he would still feel the injury that he made to Holmes, or, Sherlock. Because during one of their fights, he would use one of his attacks, specifically a mix of his, a mix of his Beowulf quirk and also his shadow manipulation quirk, to create a devastating slash, which basically caused a lot of damage to, to Sherlock. As Sherlock would say this, "Feeling much better thanks to my little nurse." As he would say this, "Ah, Moriarty. I meant, oh, Sherlock. You're always such a resilient little fellow. That is why I consider you as my arch nemesis." As Sherlock would say this, "Right there, Moriarty." As he would unsheath his sword, as Ezekiel would basically unsheath his sword as well, being that it's also like a cane. It's basically a sword and a cane combined. So, after unsheathing it, he would say this, "Now, let's dance." As they would basically start to fight, as the entire stadium would be crumbling around them, thanks to the, homunculi basically causing a lot of damage. Some of the other heroes of England would basically start to fight as well, as Ezekiel would decide to basically fake his, demise, or not really demise, more like his defeat. So, Ezekiel would let Sherlock, stab him right in the chest. As when Sherlock does, he would basically quote-unquote die. Ezekiel would quote-unquote die, which, not technically because he has the immortality quirk, so he would pretend die, stopping his heartbeat, as everybody would celebrate knowing that the number one villain is gone. So, when they basically celebrated knowing that that the number one villain is basically gone now, is basically basically gone now, he would, or at least his body would be thrown into the into the specific ocean, or at least the ocean part, or the docks of the England, where he would be thrown and never be seen again, quote unquote. But Ezekiel, after realizing that he's underwater, he would start to create a large boat, thanks to, creating his creation quirk, or at least somewhat of a creation quirk similar to Momo Yaoyorozu, which obviously is the ship of this, series. So, after doing that, he would say this, "Finally. So, I'm finally done being a villain. It's time for me to turn over to a new leaf." He would start he would start to grab a mirror from his pocket dimension, or using his summoning quirk, as he would basically look at himself. Instead of having green hair and green eyes, he would have blonde hair and somewhat green eyes. They're more like a, light green eyes, to be more precise. Wait for a second. So, he would have light green eyes, as Ezekiel would say this, "I should probably change my hair and my eye color." So, wait for a second. So, his hair would be turned green, as one of his eyes would also turn green, but his other eye would well, would be drastically be changed. He would have a marking on his eye, pretending that it's his quote unquote quirk. His eye would also be darkened, like specifically the white parts of the eye basically be darkened to a grayish color, as the irises would basically be purple to a red color. Sorry about that. So, after doing that, he would say this. So, where should I go? So, he would create a map quirk as he would realize that he's near the Japanese waters, or more specifically the Japanese Ocean, or the Ocean of Japan, or whatever. So, he would start to drive over there, and he would, when he makes it there, he would basically change the large, almost boat-like yacht to into a horrible raft, like the ones that you'd see in like Survivor games or whatever, like similar to like Raft, the game, not the actual item, or the Forest, which actually it's been a long time since I watched the Forest, which is another game. So he would turn it into that, as he would basically change his appearance to basically look ragged and look like he was hurt. So, after doing that, he would be, driving through the ocean, or more specifically, drifting through the ocean, as a fisherman boat would basically find him, basically grabbing onto Izuku, and Izuku pretending that he's just a innocent bystander accidentally, brought to the, Japanese Ocean. Ezekiel would basically make a translation quirk and also a quirk that allows him to basically speak that language as well, as it turns out that he's nearby to Japan, as expected. So, he would start speaking fluently in Japanese, as the people would basically say this. So, you were stranded here because, as you would say this, some yacht accidentally, caught into a storm and then some shit happened. And then I got into an island, and then I decided to make a raft, and, the rest basically tells itself. As one of them would say this. I see. So, do you want to go back to mainland Japan? As he would say this. Why, certainly. So, after they arrived at Japan, they would basically start to leave. Specifically the, fisherman. As he would start to leave as well. Basically going on his way, basically using his quirk, specifically a speed-like quirk, to basically go into a frenzy. Not really a frenzy, more like, trying to find find the best place to stay. So, after finding a little, area for him to stay at, he would find a simple apartment. Ezekiel would say, it's not my mansion, but still. So, Ezekiel would start, how do we say this? Wait for a second. Well, he would ask to basically just, live in this, apartment, as the lady would say this. Oh, gladly, so, what is your name? As Ezekiel would say this. Well, yeah. As he would say this. Call me Ezekiel Midoriya. So, Ezekiel doesn't why he decided to go for Midoriya, but he, his subconscious basically said, yeah, Midoriya, go for Midoriya. So, after doing that, he would start to go into the apartment, as he would basically sit down on one of the beds, as he would say this. Feels kind of comfortable. At least it's better than that stupid raft, and that damn fisherman's boat. Especially with the freaking noise. As he would see that he's in Japan, and apparently nearby is a hero school. And, wait for a second, god dang it. And it turns out that he's maybe at the same age rate, or the age range to maybe attend this school. As Izuku would say this. Maybe I can attend this school, but it's almost not really summer yet, so guess I'll just wait until the entrance exams start. He would basically sigh, as he would basically just go into the streets to maybe get some grub. So, he would start to go through the streets basically looking for some food as he would find a little street venue. So, after grabbing some food, he would start to leave, but when he was walking back home, apparently there's been a little bit of a, how do I say this? A little bit of a commotion there, specifically right beside him. So, sorry about that. He would see a ton, and I mean a ton of people there basically grouped up together, basically saying, "What is gonna happen? What happened to that girl?" As he would basically start to go over there, as he would ask, what is going on? As one of them would say this, "There's this girl. It's one of the Yayurozu children." As he would say this, "Yayurozu children?" As he would say this, "Yeah, the one of the billionaire's daughters." As Ezekiel would say this, "Really?" So, he would start to go towards the commotion as he would see a black-haired girl with dark eyes being attacked by this villain that seems to have a slime quirk. So, he would say this, "Now, give me your damn body, girl." Actually, it sounds super wrong out of context. Um, God damn it, wait for a second. Actually, it sounds super wrong out of context. So, please do not. So, he would say this, "Now, give me your damn body, girl." As he would basically start to, crawl all over. Actually, God, it's making it even worse. So, yeah. So, one person would basically tell one of the heroes there to basically try and save his daughter, as he sort of resembles the girl as well. As he would say this, "Well, because I'm no longer a villain, why not become the hero this time?" He would basically roll off his sleeves as he would basically start to create a mask thanks to his, creation quirk work, or, he basically create a creation quirk. So he basically starts using it to basically create a mask as he would start to jump into battle. So, as every single civilian would basically see a masked man that seems to resemble kind of a ninja. I mean, kind of. He's wearing like a Hanya mask or an Oni mask or whatever. So he would basically start to run over towards the sludge villain and grab the girl, bring her towards her father. At least he thinks so. So when the man sees her basically in his arms, he would say this, "Thank you. How I can..." As he would say this, "No time." As he would see the sludge villain going towards him saying, "You damn little shit." As he would start to charge towards him, as he would say this, "Freeze." As he would basically just create an ice quirk, freezing the body of the sludge villain. As the sludge villain would say this, "The hell? I thought you had a speed quirk." As he would say this, "Sorry, but my quirk is a bit special." As he would start to create a, massive air wave, as the sludge villain would be blown away instantly. As Ezekiel would say this, "Now." As he would start to create the prison quirk, I guess you can say that. So, as when the sludge villain is basically just bouncing around, trying to keep himself in balance, he would basically create a cube and basically trap the sludge villain in it. As Ezekiel would say this, "So, here's your villain here." As one of them would specifically say this, specifically a hero, "That was reckless, kid, and what is your quirk?" As he would say this, "It's secret." As he would say this. Anyway, ta-ta. He would start to leave as one person would basically grab him by the, shoulder, as this person was the man that basically the man that he basically met, specifically the one that he basically saved the girl from the sludge villain. Yeah. So the man would say this, "Thank you for saving my daughter, and how can I repay you?" As he would say this, "Sorry, but no thanks for repayments or anything like that. Anyway, I should be leaving. After all, I'm planning to become a hero." He would give off this nice warm smile as he would start to move away. The girl would be awake as well, seeing the, boy that basically saved her, as she would say this, He saved me." "What is your name?" she would basically shout as Ezekiel would say this. "The name's Ezekiel Midoriya. Nice to meet you." As he would start to jump away, thanks to his, strength enhancement and also a jumping quirk that he made. So, after leaving, he would go back to his little apartment as he would say this. Done. I should be getting some sleep now. I feel a bit tired. So, he would basically lay down on the bed, basically just flopped onto it, as he would say this. Night. Maybe I should join that hero school or whatever, because those guys definitely seem pretty pissed off after I saved that girl. I thought heroes were supposed to save people. Whatever. So, he would basically fall asleep, and so, this is gonna be the end of this episode. So, I hope you liked the video, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye-bye!